do my utmost. So, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 2 is unsurprisingly the second season of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, which is a series based upon the well to Lord of the Rings, the Silmarillion, which was written by J.R.R. Tolkien after he'd written Lord of the Rings. It is set in the time before Lord of the Rings, with the rise of Sauron. And in the first series, Galadriel, future Queen of Lothlorien, is off doing lots of fighting of Sauron's former master Morgoth, and begins, yes, thinking that they've won, but she's convinced that it's not all over. And as series one progresses, you find her traveling with a man who she thinks is the king of the Southlands. At the same time, you have a very tall but possibly wise man who seems to be a bit magic in different places, with some people who are quite like hobbits but aren't hobbits. And as the series ends, we have an increased feeling that we might know who the tall man who's kind of magic-y is, but we're still not sure. And he's off trying to find his destiny with the small people who aren't the hobbits. And established that the man that Galadriel thought was going to be was going to be the king of the Southlands and savior of everything is in fact Sauron. So we move into series two with Sauron is back. Elrond is around the place as well. He's got a really good friend who is the crown prince of one of the nearest dwarven kingdoms, and they are all, yes, Khazad-dûm, which people will possibly remember from the films and the books, is the Mines of Moria. And everybody's sort of getting on and doing I don't want to say doing their things. It's quite difficult to articulate that.
It is really. Yeah. I think what you've got there is you've got all sort of characters that you've heard about, haven't you? Or characters that could be becoming other characters later on. And it's sort of, well, you've got characters that you haven't seen like in the movies, or so like you were saying, Ollie, it takes place before, doesn't it? And you've just got loads of characters. You've got some nasty orcs in there, ugly looking little suckers.
But the crux of it is you probably have three key groups going on. You have somebody who is Sauron disguised as who is disguised as somebody else who is off trying to make rings of power. You have the elves who are adjunct to this, as he is hanging out with one of the elves. Can
I just interject here? I think that actor is absolutely brilliant at convincing people. To me, he was anyway. Sorry, no, yeah. You finish.
You have a realm of men, the Númenóreans, who have various political machinations going on, trying to unseat their queen, and you've got a lot of orcs who really don't like Sauron, who has abused them in the past, and their leader, who is hoping to overcome Sauron and never see him and his orc children dragged down again. The series really just isn't a helpful word here, but we watch the progression of the production of Rings of Power, distrust being built between people, a lot of lying, a lot of people being corrupted willingly or unwillingly,
or both.
Or both, all of which will ultimately come to a grand and exciting end in episode 8, preparing us for season 3.
So Okay, I'm coming from the point of view of somebody who hasn't seen a single frame of season 1 or season 2, and part of that is because hang on a second, what's going on here? All right, cool. Sorry, and part of that is because I feel like this is a bit of a cash grab. That this is like, it was essentially Game of Thrones has ended, and Amazon going, oh, what can we do to sort of get some of that Game of Thrones dollar? So, and I hear that people complain about season 1 saying it was a bit slow and everything like that. How does season 2 compare to season 1?
Okay, well, yeah, I really, really didn't get season 1. I wasn't a big fan of season 1. It really didn't do it for me. There was a lot of issues. I had a lot of issues with season 1, and it was debatable whether I started watching this. But they have upped their game. For me personally, I don't know about Holly, but for me in this one, they've upped the game. So I think they must have taken on board some of the criticism of the early stuff, because this had me a little bit more interested than the first one, and I think there's a particular set piece battle which I think is absolutely which is what I wanted to see. Well, yeah. So
Sean, you do love a battle on horseback, don't you?
I do. Yeah. I like, and I'm not so keen on Elrond. But I really love the chap who comes into Sauron. Really, I rate him really highly. I think he's a great actor, and he would convince me that he could, even though he was a nasty person, you could still, because he looks nice. You know what I mean? He looks nice. He's talk nice. He's all that.
He's got a lovely face. He's got a kind face.
Yeah, he has, absolutely. That you'd be a sucker. He's like your proper salesman that comes to the door or whatever, and like, oh, would you like to? And
so what you're saying is that if you were in Middle Earth, you would be in trouble.
Yeah. So I thought they really upped their game with this one. And as I say, there's some characters that obviously are just starting off. And you actually see, and I don't think this will be a spoiler at all, but you actually got a character called Tom Bombadil, which a lot of people were upset that he was left out of the movies, but he's quite a major character in this. I'm not sure if I like him or not. I sort of do. Yeah. So I had an issue there. I still don't like those Hobbit-y type people. I forget what they're called. I can't remember. It'll come to me as soon as I finish.
Well, I remember. I know. Lenny Henry plays one of them.
Oh yeah, he's not in it. He's not in it.
Oh, he did in the first season.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. There's a bonus. So, they're called something for Harefoots. They're called Harefoots or something. Harfoots. That's it. But yeah, so they annoy me a little bit. But then the Hobbits did annoy me a little bit in the movie. I find them a bit
just sitting around and eating. You're no good in a battle.
Yeah. So I was a little bit more enamored with this. I was a little bit more impressed with it.
Okay, and Holly, I'll come to you for your thoughts in a second. But obviously, a lot of the first season came out around about the same time as the first season of House of Dragon, and there was a big thing. People were always saying, "Lord of the Rings, the House of Dragon." So I'll be basic and I'll ask you that question, Sean. So, Lord of the Rings season 2, House of Dragon season 2.
House of Dragon season 2
by
a mighty leap.
So Lord of the Rings, they've upped their game massively, but not massively enough to
compete.
Not massively enough to get anywhere close to House of the Dragon. All right, cool. Holly, what did you think of Lord of the Rings season 2?
I really enjoyed it. I'm going to say I wouldn't compare Lord of the Rings season 2, House of the Dragon season 2, because they're quite different. Other than falling into a vague overarching fantasy genre, then they're not the same. So it's not an either or. I really liked it. I thought it built well on the first series, which I think I'd liked more than
me.
We had, but I liked the way they'd done it. I thought casting was good. I thought, the what's his face? He plays Sauron. Whose name I
reckon you might have a little crush on him.
Charlie Vick.
No, I don't. That's not.
No, all right, okay, sorry.
But he's very convincing.
He is convincing, totally.
So appears so guileless. It was like, wow, you absolutely aced the idea of being somebody who could could sell you encyclopedias.
Yeah, exactly. We concur on that one then.
He's a traveling Sauron, the traveling salesman of Middle Earth.
Yeah, he's probably for me. I don't know about you, Holly. For me, he's probably the best actor out of the whole.
Yeah,
the most convincing as character.
it's a good cast overall.
It is a good cast.
They're decent as they act well. He is particularly compelling.
Stand out, yeah.
And does a really good job of not looking the same.
Yes, he does. Yeah, really, it's really good, isn't it?
Wasn't initially sure that it was the same actor.
Exactly.
So, yeah, genuinely impressed. Really liked it. I'm looking forward to season 3.
Yeah.
So how many stars are we talking?
I'm trying not to laugh at you with your headphones.
I know. My headphones. It's
I've noticed those. I don't notice much.
It is all going on. It's all going on over here. You have a child demanding food and drink and everything like that. You have headphones that have broken on me as I'm doing this. As I said, I said at the beginning, this is going to be a chaotic recording. It is a chaotic recording. So, but this is what happens when you try and do stuff while being a parent. But
I'm not sure. It's either a 4 or a 5 for me.
Ooh.
Go for it, Holly. If you feel that much.
I'm going a 5. I'm going to give it.
Okay. I can see that.
All right. Okay. So Holly, I know you don't want to do House of Dragon, but Lord of the Rings season 2, Wheel of Time season 2.
Lord of the Rings season 2.
Ooh.
I will never quite forgive Wheel of Time for the characterizations not being quite right.
Ooh, okay.
I started reading the books 30 years ago, so they're never quite right. They've not done quite what I.
All right, and Sean, how about you?
For me, as I say, I hated the first one, but the second one, I felt they really upped their game, and I did actually quite enjoy this. So this is going to be one of those high 3s for me. It's going to be one of those high 3s for me. Good
stuff. So a high 3 for Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. LOTR trop. But it's one of those things. I think it's a bit of an unwieldy title, but there seems to be quite a few of those around nowadays. Speaking of